What if being the most talented person at your job is precisely why you're not succeeding? The world's most powerful people follow 48 unwritten rules that will not only transform your English skills, but will also change your life forever. To ensure you master every secret, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss the wisdom that could define your future. Today, I have a story for you, a summary of a book that I believe will truly change your perspective. It will change the way you think about power, about influence, and about success. Before we begin, let me tell you something that might shock you. Did you know that 85% of millionaires and billionaires read books regularly? That's right. People like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk, all of them are passionate about reading. In fact, Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every single day. Can you imagine that? And Bill Gates reads about 50 books every year. You might ask, why do they do this? It is because books are one of the greatest sources of knowledge, of wisdom, and of power. And today, I am so excited to bring you the ideas from one of the most famous and powerful books ever written. The book is called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now, this book is not about being evil, and it is not about manipulating other people. No, it is about understanding how power works in the world. When you understand this, you can protect yourself from being fooled or controlled by others. This book teaches you how successful and powerful people think. It shows you how to use these ideas, these principles in your own life to become smarter, stronger, and more successful. So, my friends, are you ready to learn the secrets of power and success? Let's begin. Law number 1 is never outshine the master. This is a very important lesson. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in your life or your career is making your boss, your teacher, or your leader feel insecure. If you appear too smart or too talented or too capable, they might begin to see you as a threat. And if they feel threatened, they might try to push you down. For example, imagine you start a new job. You are very talented and full of good ideas. Your boss starts to notice that you are even better than them at certain tasks. Instead of feeling happy for the company, they start to feel insecure inside. A little voice in their head says, "This person is a threat." So what happens? They might try to suppress you to give you less important work, or maybe even find a reason to fire you. The lesson here is to always make your boss or your superior feel that they are the one in control. Show them respect. Make them feel important. When you do this, they will see you as a support, as a helper, and they will want to help you succeed instead of competing with you. Law number 2 might sound a little sad at first, but it is very important to understand. It is never put too much trust in friends and learn to use enemies. Now, this sounds strange, doesn't it? Many of us think, my friends will always support me. But the book warns that this can sometimes be a dangerous mistake. Sometimes friends can betray you, perhaps because of jealousy or envy. On the other hand, your enemies often have something they want to prove. Let me tell you a story. Do you know who the greatest emperor of France was? Napoleon Bonaparte. When Napoleon needed a great general for his army, he didn't always trust his closest friends. Instead, he sometimes hired his former enemies. You might ask, why would he do that? He did it because he knew that enemies will work much, much harder to prove their loyalty and their skill. Friends, on the other hand, can sometimes become a little lazy or envious of your success. The lesson is this: do not blindly trust people just because you call them a friend. Sometimes an enemy who wants to prove themselves to you can be more useful and more reliable than a friend. Law number 3 is to conceal your intentions. This means you should never let people know exactly what you are planning to do. If people know your next move, they can prepare for it. They can try to stop you, or they can try to take advantage of you. Imagine you are in a business negotiation. You are trying to agree on a price. If you show your true intentions. For example, if you show that you are desperate to make a deal, the other person can use that information to manipulate you. They might raise the price or demand more from you. Instead, it is better to keep your plans mysterious. Be a little bit of a closed book. This will make people respect you and perhaps even fear you just a little because they don't know what you are thinking. The lesson is to be unpredictable. If people do not know what your real plans are, they cannot control you. Law number 4, always say less than necessary. This is a classic sign of a powerful person. Powerful people often speak less and listen more. When you talk too much, you can start to lose control. You might say something foolish or give away important information without realizing it. Think about some of the greatest leaders in recent history. People like Barack Obama, or Steve Jobs, or Jeff Bezos. When they speak very carefully. They choose their words with purpose. Every word they say has power and meaning behind it. They don't waste their words on silly things. So the lesson is simple, but very effective. The less you say, the more powerful you will appear to others. Law number 5 is something we should all remember. It is so much depends on reputation. So guard it with your life. Your reputation is your greatest asset. It is what people think and say about you when you are not in the room. If people respect you and trust you. Many doors will open for you in life. But if your reputation is damaged, everything can fall apart very quickly. Think about a public figure like Elon Musk. He has a reputation for being bold, for being an innovator who changes the world. Because of this reputation, investors trust him with billions of dollars. If his reputation was bad, if people thought he was lazy or dishonest, do you think anyone would give him money? Of course not. The lesson is to protect your reputation at all costs. Never let people spread bad things about you without defending yourself. Your reputation is precious. Law number 6 tells us to court attention at all costs. In our busy world, people who stay silent and try to be invisible are often forgotten. If you want to find success and have influence, you need to stand out from the crowd. You need to capture people's attention. Look at famous companies like Tesla or Apple. Their marketing is always bold and unique. They create a feeling of excitement. That is why people pay so much attention to them. They don't just sell a product, they sell a story that people want to be a part of. The lesson here is to find ways to attract attention, but in a positive and creative way. Don't be afraid to be a little different. Law number 7 might sound a little selfish at first. It says get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. This does not mean you should be lazy. Not at all. It means you must learn how to delegate tasks and how to use the power of teamwork in a very smart way. Think about Henry Ford. He is famous for the car. But did you know that he didn't actually invent the car number? But he was a genius at perfecting the system to build cars, the mass production system. He did this by using the amazing skills and talents of other experts and engineers. He guided the team, and so he received the credit. The lesson is to work smart, not just hard. Use the talents of the people around you to achieve your goals. Law number 8 is about strategy. It is make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Instead of always chasing after people or opportunities, you should find a way to make them come to you. When they come to you, you are in a position of power and control. Think about it in the world of dating. If a person seems too desperate, if they are always calling and chasing the other person, often loses interest. But if you make yourself seem like a prize, if you have your own interesting life, people will become curious and want to chase you. The lesson is to be strategic. Think about what people want and use that to make them want to come to you. Law number 9 is very wise. It says win through your actions, never through argument. Actions always speak louder than words. Instead of arguing with people and trying to prove you are right, it is much more powerful to prove yourself through your results. Think about the great basketball player, Michael Jordan. He never went around arguing with people saying, "I am the best basketball player." He didn't need to. He proved it every single night on the basketball court with his incredible actions. His winning was his argument. The lesson is simple. Let your actions and your success speak for you. Law number 10 is about the people you spend time with. It is called, infection avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This means you should stay away from negative and toxic people. People who are always complaining, who always see the worst in every situation. Their negativity is like an illness. It can spread to you and pull you down. The lesson is to surround yourself with successful, positive, and happy people. Their energy and their mindset will lift you up. Law number 11 is about becoming valuable. It says learn to keep people dependent on you. If people need you for something important, they cannot easily betray you or get rid of you. But if they don't need you, they can replace you. The secret to power and security is to make yourself valuable and necessary. Imagine you are working in a company. If you are the only person who knows how to handle the most important clients or the most difficult tasks, your boss can never fire you. You are too valuable. But if you only do common work that many other people can do, you can be replaced at any time. The lesson is to always be developing rare and valuable skills. Become so good at what you do that people can't let you go. Law number 12 is about honesty, but in a very strategic way. It says to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. If you are always completely honest about everything, people can start to predict your actions. But if you use a moment of honesty at just the right time, you can gain people's trust and control a situation. Imagine a salesman trying to sell a very expensive car. He might say to the customer, "Honestly, this car is very costly and I won't push you to buy it. It's a big decision. But I have to tell you, I personally love this car because it lasts for years and gives the best performance." What happens in the customer's mind? They start to trust the salesman more because he seems honest and not pushy. But in reality, that small moment of honesty was a tool used to make the sale stronger. The lesson is that a small dose of well-placed honesty at the right time can make people lower their defenses and trust you completely. Law number 13 is about human nature. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. People don't usually help you just because they are kind or because they like you. They help you because they believe they will get something in return. Imagine you need money to start a new business. Instead of going to an investor and saying, "Please help me, I really need your support," it is more powerful to say, "If you invest in my business, I have a plan that will double your money in 1 year." Now the person helps you not out of kindness, but because they see a clear benefit for themselves. The lesson is, if you need help from someone, always show them how they will benefit from helping you. Don't just talk about what you need. Law number 14 is about gathering information. It says pose as a friend, work as a spy. If you know people's weaknesses, their fears, and their secrets, you have a certain power over them. And what is the best way to learn these things about people? It is to act like their friend. Imagine there are 2 business rivals. One of them decides to act friendly. He invites the other for coffee and asks personal questions. How is your business going these days? What is your biggest challenge? The other person thinks it's just a normal, friendly conversation, so they share their business struggles. Now the first person has valuable information that they can use to defeat their competition. The lesson here is to listen more than you speak. Observe people carefully, ask smart questions, and gather information. Knowledge is power. Law number 15 is very direct. It is crush your enemy completely. If you fight an enemy and only defeat them halfway, they will recover. And when they come back, they will be stronger and they will want revenge. They might destroy you later. If you look back in ancient history, the Roman leader Julius Caesar never left his enemies alive or powerful. He knew that if he showed mercy to a dangerous enemy, they would return one day and try to seek revenge. So instead, he completely destroyed their ability to fight back. This ensured they could never threaten him again. The lesson is to never leave problems or threats half-solved. If something or someone is a real danger to you, you must eliminate that threat completely. Law number 16 is about presence. It says to use absence to increase respect and honor. If you are always available, always present, people can start to take you for granted. They stop valuing you. But if you disappear for a little while, people will start to miss you. Your return will be more powerful, and they will respect you more. Think about a famous celebrity who gives too many interviews and is always in the news. After a while, people get bored of them. But what if a celebrity stays away from the public for a year and then returns with a big, exciting new project? People pay much more attention. The lesson is, don't always be available. Create a little bit of mystery around yourself. This makes you seem more valuable and interesting. Law number 17 is about being unpredictable. It says to keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. If people can predict your next move, they can control you or defeat you. But if you are unpredictable, they will live in a state of suspense, and they might even fear you. Imagine a football player who always uses the same trick to get past defenders. The opponents will very quickly learn how to stop him. But if he changes his strategy every time, if he is sometimes fast and sometimes slow, sometimes goes left and sometimes goes right, no one can predict his next move. He has the advantage. The lesson is to be a little mysterious and unpredictable in your actions. It keeps other people off balance and gives you an advantage. Law number 18 warns us about being alone. It says do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. If you cut yourself off from other people, you lose valuable information, you lose power, and you lose opportunities. Think of a king who locks himself inside his castle because he thinks he is safe there. In reality, he is blind. He does not know what is happening in his own kingdom. While he is isolated, his enemies can gather power outside the walls and plan an attack. Always stay connected with people. The more information and relationships you have, the stronger and safer you truly are. Law 19 is about social intelligence. Know who you are dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. This is so important. Some people can forgive a mistake or an insult, but other people will never ever forget. If you accidentally insult or offend one of these people, they might spend years planning their revenge to destroy you later. Here is a short story. A businessman once humiliated his assistant in a public meeting. He shouted at him and made him feel small. That assistant worked quietly for years, but he never forgot that moment. When he finally got into a position of power, he used it to ruin his former boss's career. All because of that one moment of disrespect. The lesson is to always be careful with your words and your actions. Some people are very dangerous enemies when they feel offended. Law number 20 is do not commit to anyone. If you are always taking sides in a conflict, you become stuck. You become limited. Powerful people often remain neutral and independent. They make both sides of a conflict compete for their attention and their support. Think about a smart employee in an office where there is a lot of politics. This employee never fully takes the side of one group or the other. Instead, he keeps good relationships with both groups. When a big promotion becomes available, both sides want him to get it because they both think he will support them. And so he wins. The lesson is to stay independent. When people are competing for your favor, you have more power. Law 21 is simple and strong. Enter action with boldness. When you decide that you are going to do something, do it with confidence and with your full energy. If you act with hesitation, if you seem unsure, people will doubt you. But if you act boldly, people will respect you and want to follow you. In life, people who hesitate or act in a timid, shy way often lose great opportunities. But those who take action with courage and determination are the ones who achieve success. Even if you make a mistake, boldness will help you recover faster because people respect confidence. If you believe in yourself, other people will start to believe in you too. Bold action reduces fear and stops you from overthinking. For example, imagine you want to start a business, but you keep doubting yourself. Is my idea good enough? What if I fail? While you are hesitating, someone else starts a similar business and becomes successful. Boldness helps you take action before it's too late. No matter what you do in life, act with boldness, and the world will open doors for you. Law 22 teaches a surprising strategy. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. If you are in a fight that you know you cannot win, don't just fight harder and lose everything. Instead, it can be very smart to step back and surrender for a moment. This makes your enemy feel victorious and proud. They lower their defenses. But in reality, you are just waiting for the right moment to strike back. During a war, a very small army pretended to surrender to a much larger one. The enemy thought, "Great, we have won." And they started to celebrate and relax. They lowered their defenses. But in the middle of the night, the small army launched a surprise attack and took back control. The lesson is that sometimes giving up temporarily is the best strategy to win in the long run. Law 23 is about focus. Concentrate your forces. You will achieve much more power and success when you focus all of your energy on one single important goal, instead of wasting your energy on too many different things. For example, a student wanted to master the English language, but he was also trying to learn French, Spanish, and Chinese all at the same time. Because he was dividing his energy, he struggled to make progress in any of them. But when he finally decided to focus only on English, he started to improve faster than he ever had before. The lesson is to focus your precious time and energy on one major goal. When you do this, you will achieve success much faster. Law 24 is to play the perfect courtier. A courtier was a person who survived and became successful in the dangerous royal courts of kings and queens. They did this by being charming, very careful, and diplomatic. In our modern life, the people who succeed in big offices and businesses often do the same thing. Imagine two employees in a company who are equally talented. One of them is rude and very direct. The other one knows how to speak respectfully to everyone, how to build good relationships, and how to avoid making enemies. When it is time for a promotion, who do you think gets it? The second one, of course, because he understood how to play the game of power. Smartly. The lesson is to be polite, build relationships, and know how to navigate social situations. This will give you a great advantage in life. Law 25 is about personal growth. It says to recreate yourself. You do not have to stay the same person forever. If you are not happy with your current life or your personality, you have the power to change yourself. Powerful people are constantly reinventing themselves. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He started as a bodybuilder. Then he recreated himself to become a famous movie star. And after that, he recreated himself again and became a politician, the governor of California. If he had stayed in only one role, he would never have reached such incredible heights. The lesson is this: if your current life is not the life you want, you have the power to reinvent yourself. Law 26 is about your image. Keep your hands clean. This means you should never let people see you as the villain or the bad guy. If something negative or unpleasant has to happen, make sure your reputation stays clean. For example, a CEO of a company knew that his company needed massive layoffs. Many people would lose their jobs. But instead of announcing this bad news himself, he hired an outside consultant to come in and announce the job cuts. When the employees got angry, who did they blame? They blamed the consultant, not the CEO. The lesson is to always protect your image, even when you have to make difficult or unpopular decisions. Law 27 is about leadership. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. People are always searching for leaders who can give them hope, a sense of purpose, and a vision for the future. If you can make people believe in you and your vision, they will follow you with incredible loyalty. Steve Jobs was a master of this. He wasn't just selling phones and computers, he was selling a vision of a simpler, more creative future. That is why Apple customers became such loyal followers. They believed in the dream he was selling. The lesson is, if you want to have great influence, you must give people a dream, a vision, and something to believe in. Law 28 is so important that it appears twice in a way. Enter action with boldness. If you act with hesitation, people will lose confidence in you. But if you act boldly, people will believe that you know exactly what you are doing. Imagine two men who enter a negotiation. One of them speaks softly. He hesitates. He is not sure of his words. The other man speaks with a clear, confident voice and makes strong, clear statements. Who do you think will win the negotiation? The bold one, of course. Confidence creates an aura of power. The lesson is, whatever you do in life, do it with your full confidence. Even if you feel a little unsure on the inside, you must act boldly on the outside. Law 29 is about planning. Plan all the way to the end. Most people only think about today or tomorrow, but powerful people think far ahead. They prepare for the future and consider all the possible consequences of their actions. A business owner was very excited to open a new shop, but he only thought about the opening day. He didn't think about future challenges like paying taxes or dealing with new competition. After only 6 months, his business failed. Meanwhile, another business owner planned for every possible problem before she started. So when trouble came, she was ready for it, and she survived. The lesson is, before you start anything big, think about the long-term consequences. Plan everything properly all the way to the end. Law 30 is about perception. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. If you show everyone how hard you worked for your success, people might respect you. But if you make your success look easy and natural, people will admire you and be amazed by you. Think about a great magician. He never comes on stage and says, "I practiced this trick for 10 years for 8 hours a day." No. He performs it effortlessly with a smile. This makes people feel a sense of wonder and curiosity. They think, "Wow, how did he do that?" The lesson is to hide the sweat and the hard work behind your success. Let your achievements look natural and effortless. Law 31 is a clever way to influence people. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. The best way to have power over people is not to force them to do something. It is to make them think they have a choice, even when they don't. A parent might ask their child, "Do you want to clean your room now before dinner? Or do you want to clean it after dinner?" The child feels like they have a choice. But in reality, cleaning the room is not optional. Both choices lead to the outcome the parent wants. The lesson is to give people 2 or 3 choices, but make sure all of those choices lead to the result that you desire. They feel like they are in control, but you are actually controlling the outcome. Law 32 is about imagination. Play to people's fantasies. People don't always want the cold, hard truth. They want hope. They want to dream. They want to feel excitement. Luxury brands are masters of this. They don't just sell a watch or a car. They sell a lifestyle. They make people believe, if you buy this product, you will feel powerful, beautiful, and successful. This fantasy is what makes customers willing to spend millions of dollars. The lesson is, if you can inspire people's imagination and connect with their dreams, they will trust you and follow you. Law 33 is about finding a person's vulnerability. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Every single person has a weakness, the secret vulnerability. It could be a deep desire for something or a hidden fear. A company needed to win a contract with a very powerful businessman. Instead of just offering him money, they did their research. They studied his interests and found out that he was passionate about collecting rare paintings. So they found a limited edition artwork and gave it to him as a gift. He was so happy that he immediately became their loyal partner. The lesson is that everyone has a desire or a weakness. If you can find it, you can gain influence over them. Law 34 is about your own self-image. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. The way you carry yourself determines how other people treat you. If you carry yourself with confidence and dignity, people will respect you and follow you. But if you act small and unimportant, people will treat you as if you are unimportant. A young man dressed himself in a suit like a successful businessman. He spoke with confidence, and he walked into a high-profile event. People there assumed he must be a VIP, and they treated him with great respect. In reality, he was just an intern. The lesson is to act powerful and important, and the world will start to believe that you are. Law 35 is about timing. Master the art of timing. Success is not just about working hard. It is about doing the right thing at the right time. 2 investors were interested in buying the same stocks. One investor rushed in too early. The price of the stock dropped, and he lost a huge amount of money. The second investor was patient. He waited for the perfect moment when the price was at its lowest, and then he bought. He made a huge profit. The lesson is that power comes from knowing when to act, and just as importantly, when to wait. Law 36 gives you a strategy for dealing with small problems. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. If someone tries to insult you, or if you get rejected from something, do not react with anger or sadness. The most powerful response is to just ignore them completely. Nothing bothers people more than being ignored. A young actor was rejected from a major movie role. Instead of complaining or feeling bad, he acted like he didn't even care. He focused on improving his skills. A year later, he became so famous that the same producers who rejected him were begging him to work with them. The lesson is, if someone tries to hurt you, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing your reaction. Just become so successful that they regret ever crossing you. Law 37 is about making an impact. Create compelling spectacles. People remember dramatic actions and bold visual gestures much more than they remember words. If you want to influence people and be remembered, you need to create something unforgettable. Don't just tell people you are great. Show them in a big, spectacular way. The lesson is, if you want to make a real impact on the world, don't just talk. Do something big, bold, and unforgettable. Law 38 is about fitting in to get ahead. Think as you like, but behave like others. Even if you have very different and revolutionary ideas, don't show them openly at first. It is smarter to blend in with the people around you until it is the right moment to reveal your true ideas. A young employee had amazing revolutionary ideas for improving his company. But instead of challenging his boss on the very first day, he waited. He learned the system, he built trust, and he gained respect. After a few years, when he was in a powerful position, he introduced his ideas, and this time people listened and followed him successfully. The lesson is that people often fear what is new and different. First, blend in. Then, when you have enough power and trust, you can change the game. Law 39 is a strategy for conflict. Stir up waters to catch fish. When people are angry or emotional or scared, they make mistakes. If you want to win against an opponent, you must stay calm and focused while you make them lose their control. During a political debate, one candidate stayed completely calm and focused. The other candidate got more and more emotional and eventually started shouting. Who do you think the audience trusted more? The calm one, because he appeared more powerful and in control. The lesson is, if you can make your enemy become emotional, they will lose their focus and make bad decisions. Law 40 is a warning. Despise the free lunch. If someone offers you something for free, it usually comes with a hidden cost or expectation. Powerful people understand this. They prefer to pay for quality, and they never rely on freebies. A businessman was offered a free investment deal. It sounded like a fantastic opportunity. But later, he found out that he had signed a contract that gave away many of his company's rights. The free deal was actually very expensive. The lesson is that nothing in life is truly free. Always be careful and check for the hidden conditions before you accept anything. Law 41 is about creating your own identity. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. If you try to follow in the exact footsteps of a great and famous leader, you will always be compared to them, and you will likely seem smaller. Instead of trying to be just like them, you must create your own path and your own identity. Imagine a young CEO takes over a famous company after a legendary founder retires. If the new CEO tries to copy the old founder's style exactly, people will just say, "He's not as good as the original." But if he creates his own new vision for the company, people will respect him as a leader in his own right. The lesson is, do not live in someone else's shadow. Become the first and best version of yourself, not the second version of someone else. Law 42 is about dealing with group problems. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. In every group, there is usually one person who is the main leader or influencer. If you can remove that one person, their followers will often become confused and fall apart. In a company, one employee was constantly spreading negativity and turning the other team members against the management. The boss did not fire the entire team. He simply removed the one main troublemaker. After that person was gone, the team became peaceful and productive again. The lesson is, if you have a problem with a group, don't try to fight everyone. Just deal with the leader, and the rest will usually follow. Law 43 is about true influence. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Truly powerful people do not force others to obey them. They win people's trust, their respect, and their loyalty. When people truly believe in you, they will follow you willingly and with passion. A boss who only gives orders and makes threats will get resentment from his team. But a boss who listens, who understands, and who inspires his team will have loyal employees who work harder not out of fear, but out of respect and admiration. The lesson is that true lasting power is not about creating fear. It's about earning people's hearts and minds. Law 44 is a clever psychological trick. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. People hate to see their own flaws and negative behaviors. If you mirror their behavior back at them, they will feel very uncomfortable and often lose control. For example, a manager was always interrupting his employees during meetings. It was very rude. Instead of arguing with him one day, an employee started interrupting the manager in the exact same way. The manager quickly realized how annoying and disrespectful his own behavior was, and he stopped doing it. The lesson is, if someone is being rude or unfair to you, don't fight them with anger. Just calmly show them their own behavior, and they will often correct themselves. Law 45 is about change. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. People naturally fear big, sudden changes. It makes them feel insecure and out of control. If you want to introduce something new, it is much smarter to do it slowly, step by step, so that people can accept it. A company wanted to switch from using paper for everything to using new digital systems. Instead of forcing this huge change on everyone overnight, which would cause panic, they introduced small digital improvements each month. Over time, the employees adapted naturally without resistance. The lesson is, if you want to create change, introduce it gradually. This makes people feel comfortable and in control of the process. Law 46 is about perfection. Never appear too perfect. If you seem too perfect, too smart, too successful, too good at everything, people will feel jealous and even threatened by you. It is good to show your strengths, of course, but you must also appear human and relatable so that people don't secretly plot against you. A successful entrepreneur was rich, smart, and respected. But instead of acting like he was superior to everyone, he always admitted his own mistakes and shared stories about his struggles. This made people admire him and feel connected to him instead of envying him. The lesson is, if you want to have power and be liked, don't make other people feel small or insecure around you. Instead, make them feel inspired. Law 47 is about knowing your limits. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, know when to stop. Many people become greedy when they start to win. They push too far, and this often leads to their own destruction. A man was negotiating a business deal. He got a wonderful offer, a great price. But he became greedy. He thought, I can get more. So he asked for more, and then more again. In the end, the other side became frustrated and walked away. The deal collapsed, and he lost everything. If he had just known when to stop, he would have won big. The lesson is that success is not just about winning. It is also about knowing the right moment to stop and secure your victory. And finally, we have Law 48. Assume formlessness. The most powerful people and things in the world are adaptable, like water. They don't stick to just one plan or one shape. They change and evolve based on the situation around them. Imagine a warrior who went into every battle with the exact same strategy. At first he won, but soon his enemies learned his tactics and they easily defeated him. A smarter warrior, however, changed his strategy for every single fight. He was unpredictable, and so he always stayed ahead of his enemies. The lesson is, if you want to have lasting power, do not be rigid. Be flexible, be adaptable, and be unpredictable. My amazing friends, you now have a glimpse into all 48 of the laws that powerful people sometimes used to influence, to succeed, and to win in the game of life. But please remember, power is not just about controlling other people. True power is about controlling yourself, making smart choices, and becoming the best possible version of you. The ultimate power is in your hands. And the difference between successful people and those who stay the same is one simple thing: action. So today, I have a small challenge for you. Pick 3 laws that inspired you the most. In the comments below, tell me which law you think you will apply first in your own life to build your confidence. Take action now, because knowledge without action is just wasted potential. Books can change lives, and the ideas in this book can change yours. If you found value in our story today, please like this video so that more people can learn these powerful lessons. And please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications, because we have many more life-changing book summaries and stories coming your way. Share this video with a friend who you think needs to hear this message. Let's build a wonderful community of powerful, intelligent, and successful people, all learning English together. Remember, the future belongs to those who learn, adapt, and take action. So go out there and be powerful. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next video. Stay motivated and stay inspired.